Alright, so where are we starting from? Let's see.
Right there. Right there is fine. Going through the frame.
Let's see, let's just frame it.
Creepily.
Wait, I want to control the frames. There's actually great lighting over here.
Awesome.
You ready?
And, okay, I need quiet on the set. I need absolute quiet on the set. Scene 1, take 1, action.
So we just stepped outside George Washington University to speak with Stacia Cosner of the Students for a Sensible Drug Policy. Now, one of the reasons I love Students for a Sensible Drug Policy is the ideological diversity within the organization. Okay, so can you talk a little bit about that?
Indeed, indeed. That's one of my biggest sources of pride about our membership in Students for Sensible Drug Policy is we have people from any and all points on the political spectrum, but they can agree that the war on drugs has failed and that something needs to be done about it. Some of them think that full legalization is the solution, some of them think government should control, some of them think the businesses should control, but you know, all of our students agree on the bottom line that the war on drugs has failed. We even have students who don't know a whole lot about politics. We have students who don't care to know a whole lot about politics, but this issue introduces them to politics, and you know, that's the core of our mission and our point of existing is to get young people involved in the political process, and sometimes it takes a sexy issue or an issue that hits home for students and young people, and a lot of students have had experience with marijuana laws or other drug laws affecting their lives and educations in various ways, and so you know, if we can introduce them to how they can get involved in politics, and then they determine to take that where they will.
I just think that when you have anarcho-capitalists working alongside Trotskyists, it's a beautiful thing, man.
It is
really
a beautiful thing. It really is a beautiful thing. It's fun to watch, and it can things can get quite explosive sometimes. But you know, just always gotta stay focused on. Hey, we do agree that this has failed, and you know, SSDP doesn't espouse to have a solution for it all. So we're here to discuss, and that's going to involve some debate and maybe some fiery debate.
Now, you guys were at CPAC last week, the Conservative Political Action Conference. Can you talk about what kind of reception you experienced?
Sure. Well, we had about 75 SSDPers come from all over the country to attend CPAC, and for many of them it was their first political anything, let alone a big national political conference. So our students were really excited. They got a vast variety of different responses, ranging from immediate support, you know, as soon as they say, you know, drug policy reform, people at CPAC automatically knew what they were talking about, knew where they were going with it, and they were like, yes, the war on drugs is wrong, it's not working, I agree. That wasn't everyone's response. You know, some folks don't care about the issue, and you know, there's not a whole lot you can do about that. But people who are generally more ignorant than actively opposed are willing to listen, at least. And I found that in other environments outside of CPAC that you know, people are a bit more open-minded. So they were a bit set in their ways, I guess, on the whole. But you know, there weren't any really terrible reactions. There were just people who were so close-minded that they wouldn't even take the time to debate or discuss it because they just had their mind made up.
Now, when you're in the midst of conservative activists, there is a certain rhetorical strategy you undertake, right? So you frame the issue in terms of individual liberty. Liberty is the word that is really the major refrain, I think.
Certainly.
Amongst conservatives. Can you talk about how you kind of shaped your argument in that environment?
For CPAC?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we actually created a new piece of literature, The War on Drugs is a War on Conservative Values, a little pamphlet that we had people giving out, and it has quotes from Gary Johnson talking about how take it from a businessman, drug legalization is the way to go, you know, and that it's I think that the financial and fiscal impacts of our current drug policies really sell with that type of crowd and that type of audience. Trying to think of what other. I mean, fairness, free speech, those things sometimes will ring true with conservatives. But yeah, I mean, it's the financial implications are becoming a bigger and bigger deal. And I mean, soon I think that's how we might get some change. Just we can't afford to do it anymore.
So you mentioned Gary Johnson, former governor of New Mexico, from 96-03. Close enough. Can you talk about his involvement with SSDP? I know he sits on the advisory board, is that right?
He does. He's been on our advisory council for quite a while, actually, since the inception of the organization in 1998, 1999. he got involved, or he got in touch with some students who were starting up SSDP, the very first founders, and sat down with them actually in DC and gave them, you know, a voice while he was sitting governor, talking about this issue. And you know, he has been very supportive of our mission, and he's spoken at several of our events. He speaks to, you know, at chapter events, and he's pretty much the you know, most vocal and highest level politician, former, current, to speak out this strongly on this issue, and not behind closed doors.
Now, I guess in closing, I would ask you to comment on a theory that I've been developing, which is that the prevalence of the ideas espoused by Johnson and perhaps Ron Paul in the GOP primary, presidential primary in 2012, might actually push some progressives into actually, you know, genuinely considering their platforms, and that might in turn actually compel, say, President Obama, the Democratic Congress, to get a little more serious on issues like drug policy reform, and then all the other civil libertarian-oriented ideas that Johnson is known for. Based on your, I guess, your experience in SSDP, is there maybe a longing for that, or what do you feel?
Longing for that. I mean, I think it's certainly going to be interesting how these things unfold, because there is this whole group of folks, like you were talking about, the civil libertarian, like-minded people who kind of feel politically homeless right now. You know, because they're not getting what they want from anyone, really. And I think Gary Johnson provides a unique candidate for that. But I just feel that, I don't know, we need to get away from this two-party system, but that's probably another discussion.
So, Colorado and California, legalization on the ballot?
2012.
2012?
It's going to happen.
What's your prediction?
Colorado will probably, well, Colorado's going to happen. Definitely going to happen. California is also definitely going to happen. Yes, yes.
In both states?
Uh-huh.
Got you on the record.
All right.
We will consult the videotape.
Woo!
Great.
In November 2012. All right. Thank you, Stacia.
Thank you very much.
Back to the conference.
Awesome.
And
That's that.
good night and good luck.
Yes.
That was good.
Yeah.